This podcast was recorded on Gadigal land.
We would like to acknowledge the Gadigal of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of this land, and pay our respects to the elders both past and present.
Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Welcome to High Stakes.
The podcast about the famous feuds, frenemies, and falling outs that have shaped pop culture. I'm Madi Bogan.
And I'm Laura Marcia, and we are two Sydney-based journalists obsessed with all things celebrity gossip. But first things first, Mad Dog, how are you today?
I'm good. I actually want to share something that I have personal beef with.
Oh, I'm so intrigued.
Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
Have you seen Nobody Wants This Season 2?
Yes.
Didn't miss a beat there.
I
have.
I've seen it and I've done interviews for it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so my beef isn't with the show, even though sometimes it is, because sometimes I watch the show. I don't know, for those of you who don't know, Nobody Wants This, it's a bit more of a romantic comedy that perhaps it doesn't really have any big drama to it. Like, the biggest obstacle they have is that their relationship is sometimes culturally difficult.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I would describe it as like an old school 90s rom-com where the hurdles they have to get over are like ones that a sausage dog could jump over.
Yeah, literally, like having bad in-laws. Well, that's everyone, right? Anyway, my beef is with the very obvious product placement in the series.
100%.
Okay, so you picked up on this?
Yes, I have. Steph and I were watching it the other day, my friend Steph, and we watched it together. We got Subway. It was incredible. And there was like Dunkin' Donuts was the clearest thing I've ever seen on the screen.
Dunkin' Donuts, they did an Airbnb experience.
Maybe
That was the pasta making.
Oh,
Thanks for joining us.
sorry, you're so right.
Yeah. And then they had the fucking Estee Lauder serum.
yeah.
It was so blatant. I was like, hang on, I am paying, well, my sister is paying $18 for a Netflix subscription.
Yeah.
And you're going to try and sell me more things in the show that I'm trying to watch?
But
fuck off.
I agree with you.
Okay, perfect.
But at the same time, I do think like, can we avoid product placement? I don't think we can.
No, but I don't think it has to be so blatant. Did you see the Estee
Yeah.
Lauder one in particular? Like, the scene that I'm talking about is they really zoom in on this product. Like, the focus is unmatched. Like, you could see the serum floating around in that container. I don't know what serum it was. They didn't do that good of a job because I can't remember.
Yeah, obviously you can't remember.
But it's etched into my brain.
I remember the Dunkin' Donuts more clearly because I remember thinking, God, I want a donut. No, but I agree. It's annoying to an extent, but I don't think we can avoid it. I think we just have to kind of accept it. And the product placement has been around for so long. I wish we have a product we could place and get paid for it right now. But that was really fun. I think you should bring more personal beefs to the table.
I've got so many as well.
The one you always harp on about is people walking 3 abreast on a sidewalk.
On the way into the Commons, which is
Yeah.
where we record this episode. Thank you, Centennial World and the Commons.
Love you.
There was a group of school children walking 7 abreast, and I turn around to you and I'm like, what kind of fuckwits walk 7 abreast? And then the kids were like, oh, you're in my way. What
They
did
did not say that.
What did they say? They said
No,
something.
I didn't know they said something to you.
They fucking said something. No, he just said, what the fuck? He looked at me and went, what the fuck? And
That
I was like,
child.
you are in a laneway, a skinny, tiny little laneway
Also-
that's meant for maximum 4 people.
You were walking
2
on the
each way.
left and they were not.
They were walking through the whole path.
We were bag ladies though, because we come straight from work. Today we're not recording at 6 a.m, by the way.
No,
And,
it's actually beautifully 6 p.m. on a Wednesday.
we've mixed it up.
Yeah.
But we are bag ladies because we come straight from work. So,
So many bags, and they're
So
always
many.
in my way.
but should we get into the beef?
I think we should.
All right.
Hit me with it.
This week on The Grill, we're welcoming back David Harbour as reports of him allegedly bullying his co-star Millie Bobby Brown emerge, how the year-long feud between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has been closed, or has it, and why Jennifer Lawrence is hating on her very own 2010 self.
For our first story today, reports have emerged that Stranger Things star Millie Bobby Brown reportedly accused David Harbour of harassment back in 2024. And if that name sounds familiar to you, yes, that is the same David Harbour who was the target of Lily Allen's album West End Girl.
Yeah, I feel like we should just take a minute for David Harbour's PR team.
They would well and truly be working overtime right now. This is
Poor
an
dolls.
absolute PR nightmare. And if you're after the background on Lily Allen v. David Harbour, head to last week's ep. Otherwise, let's begin. For some context here, David Harbour plays ex-police chief Jim Hopper and the adoptive father of Millie Bobby Brown's character 11 in the Netflix series Stranger Things, which is about to air its 5th and final season. We will note here that the relationship on screen is one that has been really beautifully portrayed and is so heartwarming to watch unfold almost.
Yeah, totally.
Now, 11 has psychokinetic psychokinetic?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
I don't know how to say that word. Psychokinetic capabilities, and I believe spends her childhood being experimented on in a government program.
Have you seen Stranger Things?
Yeah, I have, but to be honest, the first 2 seasons of it were a blur for me because I was just coming in and out of it as my housemates were watching it.
Fair.
So I've only really just like locked in for the 3rd season. Anyway.
Fair enough.
Anyway, after 11 escapes captivity, she is found and taken in by David's character, Jim Hopper. So what do you make of their dynamic on screen?
Oh, I love it. They have a really lovely dynamic. It's very much father-daughter. And I think that Stranger Things and the character of Hopper really shaped how we saw David Harbour. Well, at least before West End Girl was released.
Yes, West End Girl with the Madeline debacle and also the revelation that she found a bag full of butt plugs and Trojans and lube.
Oh, yeah. That'll do it.
But each to their own.
Hey, no king shaming allowed.
No.
But while Millie Bobby Brown and David Harbour's on-screen relationship is something to be admired, reports of their off-screen dynamic kind of tell another story. On Sunday, November 2nd, the cornerstone of truthful journalism, the Daily Mail, reported that David Harbour is said to have faced an internal inquiry after Millie Bobby Brown allegedly complained about his behaviour towards her.
Can I just say, I love that we are still calling the Daily Mail the cornerstone of truthful journalism.
Yeah, I feel like we just started and couldn't stop. I don't know. They're going to come for us one day.
No, they won't. They just won't.
You know what? Fair enough. They fucking won't. Anyway, speaking to the Mail, a source who is, and I quote, a close friend of Miss Allen's, Miss Allen being David's ex, Lily Allen, said this. Millie Bobby Brown filed a harassment and bullying claim before they started shooting the last season. There were pages and pages of accusations. The investigation went on for months. And reportedly, Lily Allen supported David during a time of what the source claimed was like a brutal ordeal.
Brutal ordeal. You would hope that she would have because she was his wife.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you've got allegations of bullying a child or a young 18
Oh, that's true.
I feel like perhaps it's like, Davo, what are you doing?
Yeah, have a moment, sit down with your husband. Why are you bullying a child?
Totally. So there's a lot of, it's not a nice accusation whatsoever.
You're right.
So despite the lengthy alleged investigation, the result is unknown, and Netflix reportedly declined to comment on the reports of the internal inquiry. However, the source pointed out that it, and I quote, speaks volumes that they didn't deny it.
I mean, that's a good point, but also, I mean, whatever, Daily Mail.
This is the thing. When it's the cornerstone of truthful journalism reporting, it's hard to...
It's really hard.
Know what's real and what's false. Obviously, just to be really explicit, we don't think they're the cornerstone of truthful journalism. No. We're being funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to clarify.
Exactly. And so given that there isn't much to add to this story, there still is a lot of really interesting kind of quotes taken from previous press runs that the pair have done. Speaking to Empire back in October, Millie reportedly spoke quite highly of David, telling the publication, David and I connected on another level. He always looked out for me and I always annoyed him like a daughter or a younger sister. I was always trying to climb all over him and he was always rolling his eyes and laughing at me.
Yeah, and speaking to the press, David has always taken kind of a parental role. In fact, I think in 2020, he actually said that he felt parental towards Millie and her other cast members. In 2021, on that scene with Dan Patrick, he said, I have a real protective feeling for her. I have a real, worry. I worry about her and the fame and all that she has to struggle with, and I've just always felt this kind of deep fatherly affection for her. And with that said, Millie Bobby Brown has experienced a ridiculous amount of criticism from the press and the public alike, which led her to delete her ex account in 2018.
Back to any speculating tensions between her and David, there was that one Refinery 29 article back in 2018 where Millie admitted to the publication that she and David would get angry with one another during filming for season 3. We went through so many different emotions. We get angry at each other. We are like father and daughter. We got angry at each other. We would express our feelings on and off the set. And those scenes were so raw and so real that the reward is in the scenes.
Interesting. So what are we going to rate this one?
Well, I think given the lack of information that we have around the alleged internal investigation, I'm going to say rare, but also... I'm going to say rare because I think this has come at a time where David Harbour is already copping a lot of flack for the West End Girl and Lily Allen's claims made against his cheating scandal. But there's a little part of me, and this is just a theory, that believes that Lily Allen's publicist has gone to the Daily Mail, and this is just a theory, and said this about David Harbour to kind of like take him down, because I'm
Yeah.
also watching all of Lily Allen's like TikToks, and I love Lily Allen.
We do.
I need, this is just a theory. I've said it 4
Is
times.
this? It's a theory.
It's a theory. It's literally a theory. But Lily Allen's been saying all this stuff about how she's like going to get revenge on him. And sure, the album probably was enough.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to just do one more thing, you would probably leak to the press that your husband bullied a child.
Yeah, and look, I love this theory from you.
Great. Theory.
And I think I've got a couple of points too. We've known for years and years that celebrities and their teams leak things to the media. Later in this episode, we're even going to be talking about alleged orchestrated smear campaigns from Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. It all kind of works into play. But for years and years and years, celebrities have leaked things to the press, to people and the big magazines to get their thing across. Also, what could be at play is people just seeing a trending topic and jumping on it.
That's true. That could have been something that they knew for ages, but David Harbour just wasn't interesting enough.
Or just he was a good guy. And people aren't going to, when it's only positive news, people aren't going to grab onto it with both hands like they would when there's already a downfall. And that really sucks. And pylon culture is here, right? We are in the midst of it. It is
We've done 2 consecutive episodes on David Harbour. I would say we might be a part of the
We
problem.
100% contribute to pylon culture, even though we are just explaining why pylon culture is happening. But no, we do participate 100%.
Yeah. And I do. Are you done?
Yeah.
That's
Wait. Oh, no, I had one more point.
Oh, yeah, you go.
My other point that I wanted to bring up is this kind of claim is very serious.
Oh, absolutely.
And I just think saying it willy-nilly without a report to back it up is, I don't know, I think it's a bit of dangerous territory. And even though the report said it wasn't like sexual in nature, it's still a bad look. It's still a really serious thing to accuse him of.
Yeah.
So by no means am I a David Harbour apologist. No. I'm just saying don't talk shit unless you have the evidence to back it up.
Yeah, you'd really hope that the Daily Mail knew what they were talking about.
Yes.
And also us by proxy, I guess.
Yeah.
I will note it was really interesting that you pointed out that David Harbour was seen as a good guy.
I think he was.
Because, quite interestingly, last week after he made the comment that he was a hottie on I copped some backlash on YouTube for it. And a viewer said on this, and I'm going to read it out because I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah.
But I think this particular quote is a really good example of why everyone is so shook that David Harbour might not be what everyone thought he was.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to read it
out.
out. Yeah. Here's a dichotomy between being brusque and being a strong leader and giving off this I got this energy while simultaneously being deep down a very vulnerable person.
No. I love this. I think this YouTube comment is so true. And it made me think about whether we actually objectively think he is attractive or if we've just kind of fallen for this okay looking guy who's also cast in this like really lovely and like masculine character. And I think both things can be true. He is like objectively good looking in some ways, but I can also very much see the argument that he looks like a bridge troll.
Bridge troll is crazy.
I saw that in the comments and I was like, they got a point.
So they're not wrong, I guess.
There's some photos where he looks especially like a bridge troll.
All right, case closed.
Anyway, now on to our second story. It ends with us. And by us, I mean the legal saga between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
Yay!
Yay! Well, so we thought. But we'll get to that. So in case you've somehow missed it, actor Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni were co-stars in the film It Ends With Us, which is based on a popular book by Colleen Hoover. Baldoni, I will note, was also the director of the film. So he starred in it and he directed it.
If I was a director, I'd also cast myself as the lead role in a film.
Oh, it's so real. Me too. But rumours of a drama between them first surfaced in August 2024 at the premiere of the film when Blake and Justin weren't photographed together, even though they were lovers on screen. Fans later noticed that they weren't following each other as well. So while that sounded a little bit far-fetched at the time to some, it turned out to be the first sign of a huge legal battle that was brewing under the surface. In December 2024, Blake files a legal complaint with the California Civil Rights Department in which she accused Justin of sexual harassment on set, inappropriate comments, and orchestrating a smear campaign against her.
And Blake went on to file a federal lawsuit in New York, which named Justin, along with his production company, Wayfarer Studios, producer Jamie Heath, and publicists Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel. Just days later, an article about her claims was published by the New York Times with the headline, "We Can Bury Anyone Inside a Hollywood Smear Machine," with the cell reading, "Private messages detail an alleged campaign to tarnish Blake Lively after she accused Justin Baldoni of misconduct on the set of It Ends With Us." Now, Justin Baldoni and his team obviously denied these claims, calling it false, outrageous, and intentionally salacious. He eventually filed a lawsuit, and it was a $250 million USD lawsuit against the New York Times, alleging libel, which is like defamation, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in the defamation family.
Yeah, all I know is that libel's the written one,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Anyway, so he alleged libel over the way they reported on Blake's accusations, which was cherry picking and lack of context. Then he goes on to file a $400 million USD countersuit against Blake herself, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and publicist Leslie Sloan, in which he alleged defamation, civil extortion, and coordinated a smear campaign to destroy his reputation.
Yikes. But anyway, so we're not going to get into the entire saga today, but please, if you're keen on a full comprehensive deep dive on this, let us know. It could be a goodie, but whatever. So in June, Justin's countersuit and his lawsuit against the Times, which if we're counting, that's like 650 million US dollars worth of lawsuit, if that's how it works. Don't know if that is, but if it is. Anyway, so in June, the lawsuit from the Times was tossed out by the judge.
See ya.
Bye. So the judge, whose name is Judge Lyman, said that Baldoni and his co-plaintiffs have not alleged that Lively is responsible for any statements other than the statements in her California Civil Rights Department complaint, which are privileged. So, in other words, she made the statements Baldoni deemed to be defamatory in a legal document, so she couldn't be fucking sued for it. He then went on to say, the countersuit alleged that Reynolds and publicist Leslie Sloan made additional statements accusing Baldoni of sexual misconduct, and that the Times made additional statements accusing the Wayfarer parties of engaging in a smear campaign. The Wayfarer parties have not alleged that Reynolds, Sloan, or the Times would have seriously doubted these statements were true based on the information available to them, as is required for them to be liable for defamation under applicable law. Okay, did that all make sense?
Yeah, I'm not really a legal girl.
Me neither, but my understanding of that was that these statements were not out of the realm of possibility, and because they were like no one would doubt these statements were true based on the information available to them. So liable for defamation, essentially.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So anyway, that brings us to this week where there was a major development when Judge Lyman officially ended the countersuit lodged by Baldoni.
See ya again.
Bye.
Yeah, so in mid-October, Judge Lyman alerted Baldoni and Lively that he was approaching a final judgment to conclude the case. Previously, he had said that Baldoni and his co-plaintiffs had to refile an amended complaint for the case to go ahead, but he didn't. See ya. I'm just going to keep saying see ya. It's
Bye.
Like, see ya.
Bye.
Turn it into a soundbite. So naturally, when Judge Lyman was like, hey guys, are we still on for this? Only Blake responded, and she said that she wanted her request for legal fees to remain active, which Lyman granted. Meanwhile, Baldoni didn't say anything, so his case, all 650 million USD of it, went down the gurgler. And so what happens next? Well, we thought this was finally the end. And it maybe was until right before we started recording, when Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, spoke to the Daily Mail, and he said that the media had gotten it all wrong. Friedman claimed that he didn't file an amended complaint, so Baldoni still had the right to appeal. The truth regarding the case continuously and completely gets distorted in the media. Even something as simple as a procedural update has resulted in total mischaracterization. At this point, we have to set the record straight. No deadlines were missed. Our clients chose not to amend their complaint to preserve appeal rights. In the meantime, we are focusing on Miss Lively's claims. We remain fully committed to pursuing the truth through every legal and factual avenue available and look forward to our day in court.
Don't you think that Brian Friedman is the most lawyerish name? If
Yeah,
I think of
he's
like a
freedom
lawyer,
man.
I think, oh, that's more than I even thought of. Yeah,
I took an
incredible.
extra step,
You
didn't
did
I?
so good.
Anyway, so while Justin Baldoni doesn't theoretically have a case anymore, see ya, he's been instructed to prepare for the trial of Lively's lawsuit on March 19, 2026, which he will most likely appeal. So where does all of this sit on the beef scale, Laura?
I think this is almost perfectly cooked, if you ask me.
Oh my God, is it perfectly cooked?
No. Okay, hear me out.
Okay.
The extreme attention-grabbing lawsuits, the scrapping of the case made it just like delicious. And the final cherry on top will be the final case.
That's the garlic butter.
That better than a cherry on top analogy.
I was like, who's putting cherry on a fucking steak?
Unless it's a reduction, who knows?
Oh, true.
Yummy. But no, I think this has been quite the media spectacle. The only thing that I think comes close, aside from the like awfulness of the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case, is the whole "Don't Worry, Darling" saga.
Oh my God, I love the Don't Worry, Darling saga.
It was spectacular. Saga. No, it was spectacular. And I think this has been we like at work used to call it the next "Don't Worry, Darling" because it just, you got all the traffic and it was juicy and it was gossip.
It does keep on giving, doesn't it? I'm just so fucking sick of it. So overdone. Sorry, I've had enough.
Oh, okay. So I'm saying perfectly cooked and you're saying
It's
overdone.
rubbery as fuck. It's like we've gone to the same restaurant. You have ordered a medium steak and I have ordered a rare and they accidentally swapped them.
That's exactly what's happened. I also love that we've disagreed for once. Oh, amazing.
And now for our third and final story. Actor Jennifer Lawrence versus herself. Well, the 2010s version of herself.
Don't we all hate ourselves from the 2010s? Like that version of ourselves?
Absolutely, we do. I had a purple retainer and a SpongeBob tote bag that I would wear to school. Yes, I hate that version of myself.
I was the worst as well. So
perfect. All right. Well,
I'm trying to think of an example, but I actually blocked it out.
It's for the best anyway. Celebrities really are just like us. And speaking to the New Yorker, the 35-year-old has come out swinging against herself, specifically herself in old interviews.
Yeah, when the journalist brought up the subject of her old interviews, she apparently winced and said, "Oh no, so hyper, so embarrassing." Basically, J-Law is pretty well known for telling out-of-pocket and most of the time hilarious interviews. Here are some examples. So, on Conan O'Brien in 2013, when she was asked about her celeb crush, she said, "John Stamos. He was at a party and I turned into a perverted guy. I was like following him into rooms and staring at his ass." So funny. In another interview with Entertainment Weekly, she said, "As soon as somebody farts around me, I think it's hilarious. This is something my brothers did that now the boys at work are obsessed with. You cup it and then you throw it in someone's face and say, 'Take a bite out of that cheeseburger.'"
What the fuck?
Wow.
Honestly, it's so funny.
It's funny and so like out of pocket. And we expect these like, I don't know, really clinical interviews, I think. Anyway, so let's continue. There's more examples. It's fun. There's one moment where she screams, "We get there," and I'm like, "Where's the pizza?" But I think it's quite an iconic moment. So should we just play it?
Yeah, we should absolutely play it. It's so funny.
All right.
Really, the only thing that's keeping us going is
pizza. We're all chanting pizza.
Hot pizza.
So cold.
And then all of a sudden we get there. We get there and the pizza has not even been yet ordered.
Oh yeah, we get there and I'm like, "Where's the pizza?"
Yeah. Where's the pizza?
Where's the pizza?
Anyway, so
That soundbite is crazy. Like when you listen to just that "Where's the pizza" by itself, it's very jarring.
that, and also that GIF was used on Tumblr countless times in articles embedded in the 2010s, 2012 era. I'm sure if you use Beam, it's there.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it?
I don't know, but I love Beam. Also, we got a note. She famously fell up the stairs of the Oscars.
Yeah, and then was it Hugh Jackman that grabbed her arm or something to help her back up?
I actually can't remember. Anyway, so she was definitely a bit of a clown and people found that super endearing. I know I loved her. However, in the New Yorker article, she said that while this like outgoing personality that we saw in these clips was her genuine self, in later years she made an effort to tone it down because at one point there was this turn where people didn't find her endearing, they found her annoying, which is a fallacy that happens to liked, beautiful, talented women in the media.
Anyway, it doesn't happen to us.
Well, we got to be liked first. Anyway, what she said was, "Well, it is or it was my genuine personality, but it's also a defense mechanism. The pedestal of fame had felt treacherous and false, and so it was a defense mechanism to just be like, I'm not like that."
Totally. And because she had such a quick rise to fame, Jennifer probably wasn't really equipped to handle the amount of criticism she'd come to face for perhaps lacking a filter or having a little bit of verbal diarrhea.
Media training.
Yeah, exactly. And she was saying the first thing that popped into her mind. And I'm also saying this as someone who notoriously doesn't think before they speak. Like
Notorious.
I have like never, I'm always landing in hot water because I say things that I don't really mean. It's just something that popped into my brain. I don't have that mechanism that says you actually don't have to say that.
I do think that's why you're such a special talent. You're the J-Law of this relationship, this working relationship.
Well, who are you?
Josh Hutcherson. I got a beautiful...
This is back to the handsome chat.
Oh my God, no.
Anyway, last week I told Laura she was a strapping young woman.
It unlocks something
Yeah.
in a bad way. Anyway, no, but I just, hey, I can't remember where I was going with this other than I think you're fun.
Thanks. Okay, but so is J-Law.
Yes.
However, notably, she scolded a journalist for being on his phone at the 2016 Golden Globes in a press conference, which kind of led to almost the media hating on her for maybe not thinking before she spoke.
Wow. Is this where it kicked off? I didn't know that.
Well, I think it was around this time
Yeah,
because
okay.
anyway, we'll
Let's play it. Let's.
How do you see yourself for the Oscars
You can't live your
night?
whole life behind your phone, bro.
Huh?
You're just not gonna. You can't do that. You gotta live in the
Oh,
now.
sorry.
You know.
How do you see yourself for the Oscar night? And how was
We're at the
working-
Golden Globes. If you put your phone down, you'd know that.
Okay, I kind of get, only because like if I'm thinking from a journalist perspective, right? So I'm thinking like, okay, he forgot to print out his questions. He's stressed because you're in front of the whole crowd. Press conferences are fucking terrifying. You got to like stand up. You have to stand up in front of everyone with your questions in mind. You need to look at them in the eye and make a connection with this person you have like 2 minutes to talk to. So I get where she's coming from. Like she's trying to make a joke. Did it land to the room of journalists who are going to side with him? No.
Well, the biggest criticism wasn't that he was a nervous journalist. It was that he perhaps didn't have English as his first language.
That too, and that's even more valid.
And she kind of mocked him.
she did.
Yeah.
But also it's like, I think the Oscars and Golden Globes faux pas was nerves. But of course, it's so hard. I can't, look, I've done 416 days of Italian. Can I speak a lick of it? No.
Perfect. Anyway, this clip in particular was one that kind of fueled this public belief that J-Law's perhaps hyper and funny girl persona was fake. Public belief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But back to her gripe with, the 2010s version of herself. While J-Law has come out swinging against herself, we will take a moment to shout out an article by my friend and brilliant journalist Tom DeSalvo, who wrote an article for Pedestrian TV, which basically said that the 2010s version of J-Law was iconic. I'm going to read a bit of what he said. It's upsetting that Lawrence still seems to shoulder blame for the backlash when history has shown us with countless other celebrities that Hollywood simply loves to build women up only to tear them back down. And for Lawrence, the supposed source of the backlash, that she's too brash too much, feels like unnecessary grounds for her to be now terrified of press tours. It's such a shame since Lawrence's junkets were a highlight of 2010's pop culture, and the only thing she could be accused of was having a blast in the limelight and making us laugh along the way. Whether Lawrence will ever reclaim the narrative around her persona remains to be seen, but at least those compilation videos will live on in perpetuity, and for that, I'm as grateful as Lawrence is for a well-earned slice of pizza.
Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it?
Love your work, Tom.
That is really nice. So what are we making of this one?
What are we making of this one? Look, okay. I think this is just like a little sizzle steak. It's not even a big steak. And I'm saying that because I'm sad that she feels this way about herself. Like, it's very valid. I think if we were in the public eye like that and we're looking back at our old work, we would also have beef with ourselves.
I look back at the work we've done in the last 6 months, back to some episodes we've done recently, and I think, God, you're a fuckhead.
Yeah, exactly.
All the time. I'm like, why the fuck did I say that?
No, I know. I think that all the time, especially when I'm editing and we have to watch it over and over again. It's like, ugh. But yeah, also, I just want to add, I've interviewed Jennifer Lawrence before. And it's when she did the No Hard Feelings film.
Have you interviewed her?
Yeah.
When was I going to find this out about you?
I don't know. It's one of those things where like, I've interviewed a lot of people, but it only comes up in context. If you asked me out of the blue, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Oh, okay. Well, go
Anyway.
on. What was your vibe with her?
Well, I think she's a delight. I've been a big fan of hers for years, and I think she's funny, and I never thought, I didn't buy into her being like, I don't know, and too much, basically.
Yeah.
But what I will say that I kind of, after watching all these videos and thinking she was like a gorgeous, charming, really funny person, I was expecting a bit more like of an outgoing nature from her when I spoke to her. But she was very measured in a very polite, wonderful way, and it was a great interview. But I don't know, I just expected this like extra buzziness. And I know that you can't be on all the time, and I don't expect that. But now knowing this, it kind of breaks my heart a little bit that,
yeah, she's
that was
almost
conscious.
simmering down.
yeah,
When did you interview her?
like last year, the year before.
Oh, okay. So it's quite
It was recent.
recent.
Because remember, she took a break and she came back with that comedy, and
she just
everyone
had
was
a child.
well, yes. But it was a big deal for her to be back in a comedic role, and it was amazing. Like, she's so good in that movie. But yeah, I just remember feeling like, okay, that was really good, and I got everything I needed. But also, I don't know what I expected. you know.
I think you were probably just expecting that 2010s version of her, weren't
Yeah.
you? You
Yeah.
were really, that's what you were expecting
Yeah.
because that's what you know her as, right?
Totally. And I was, knowing this now does make me a little bit sad because it reminds me of when, like, you know, when you're in a group and you're laughing or you're speaking and you're getting really worked up and it's really fun and someone tells you to be quiet. And it's one of like the, as two Leo girls,
It's
probably
really, it's hit
hits.
me
No,
hard.
but I feel like that's one of the most, like, especially when you're laughing and someone tells you you laugh too loud.
Yeah.
I hate that because I'm like, don't stifle my joy. But also, that's what I feel like this is. That's a tiny micro scenario for what she's going through. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Oh.
what do you rate this?
Bats out for J-Law. I was going to say she's so real for the self-hatred. That's a rare. Honestly, as like I've said, I think it's human to look back at old things you've done and go, oh, fuck that. But I think it is obviously hard-hitting for people that grew up with her doing these funny interviews because they're like, oh, that's something that she feels ashamed of and it brought me so much joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe medium rare.
Yeah, okay. I don't even think I rated it on the rare scale. I just said it was a sizzle steak. Sizzle steak.
Well, that's quite chewy and thin.
Yep.
Anyway.
Hey.
Well, I guess that's all we have time for today.
Yeah, thanks for listening. You can follow High Stakes on Spotify or anywhere you get your podcasts.
And don't forget you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at High Stakes Pod. Love ya. Bye.
Bye.